Okay, hello everyone. My name is Laquan Williams, and today in this video, I'm going to talk about the Legends of Tomorrow episode that came out a couple days ago on Wednesday, which was season 7, episode 2. It's basically continuing off of what happened in the first episode, which was Nate as Mr. Steel or Steel Man, because he's like their version of Colossus. He can turn his whole entire body into steel, which is obviously very good because they usually get shot at a lot. They got shot at in this episode as well. He impersonated Al Capone. Excuse me. He impersonated J. Edgar Hoover again from the FBI. Once again, he was chased and an attempted kidnapping was taking place by Al Capone's men, who they thought were FBI agents, but they actually weren't. So Nate was able to transform into J. Edgar Hoover by using some type of magic potion that Gary right here made for him. Gary is also an alien slash shapeshifter. He can change into his alien form at any time he wants to, at any time, and he eats people. He ate J. Edgar Hoover's dead body after they killed him. Nate killed him on accident, though. J. Edgar Hoover shot Nate while he was laying down on the ground, and they thought he was dead. Nate used his superpowers, and he changed into steel. The bullet bounced off of his skin, and it hit J. Edgar Hoover straight in the head, and he died. That was last week's episode, which is the first episode. So basically what happens is Nate, Bayrod, and Gary are all on this train headed to New York to obviously try to use the tickets that J. Edgar Hoover had to get to obviously to meet the Professor Gwen Davies, who I believe is the new professor, the name of John Constantine, who's obviously, Matt Ryan, who played John Constantine, who's no longer going to be playing him anymore. That's his new character. He's a British, Welsh scientist that knows all about time travel, but he's in New York, and they need to get to him in a couple weeks because that's when he obviously starts his, I would say, invention of figuring out time travel. They need him to obviously get back to the future and obviously figure out who destroyed their Wave Rider, which is their spaceship slash home that they live on and sleep on, and also that is their only way to time travel. It is their teleportation slash time traveling device. The whole entire ship. Their AI system, Gideon, is now a full-fledged human. After the ship was destroyed, she was able to become a human again, obviously in previous episodes, but she's a human full on now because obviously the ship's gone, so she's no longer an AI system. Basically, after Azra was crying and explaining how she was sad about what happened with Gideon, the dirt that was on the ground from the ship turned red, and basically her powers, because obviously she knows magic because John Constantine trained her, so she is actually a witch. Once that happened, the soil rose up and Gideon popped up out of nowhere into a human form. In this episode, they were trying to figure out how they can speak to her because she wasn't talking at all. She was just basically eating apples. She was trying to start I would say use wires to start an electrical fuse type of explosion or something like that with wires out of the breaker of the house of Spooner's mother's house. She was trying to figure that out to communicate with everybody. It didn't work, so Spooner grabbed her arm, and with her telepathic powers, which allow her to obviously speak to aliens and know what they're talking about, she was able to speak to Gideon. Gideon's an AI system, not an alien, but it still worked somehow, some way. While they were on the train, the guys, Sarah and Ava, were at John Constantine's house in a pocket dimension, so it's not really actually his house, but it's a replica of his house. They can still walk around there and move around and everything, but it's just it's a pocket dimension version of his house, which allows them to obviously use the key that he gave Zari right here, which allows them to access it anywhere, no matter where they're at. You put the key in the door, and it's like kind of like Harry Potter, just opens up into another world, or like the Chronicles of Narnia, another dimension. It's a pocket dimension, obviously, like I said, of his house. So while Zari was sad about what happened with John Constantine, still obviously because they were together, her being depressed, she was high on edibles that were gummy bears that her brother Bayrod gave her to make her feel better. She was high. She was trying to figure out who to destroy the Wave Rider. When that happened, Ava and Sarah were upstairs in the room in bed together sleeping, and they basically it felt like the whole entire episode it was just like, well, while we're kind of having our honeymoon right now, and Zuri is obviously depressed. We're just gonna have fun, and the guys will just figure this out with J. Edgar Hoover, and that obviously went left. So it kind of felt like they were just sitting down and just having fun, while obviously Gideon was trying to, Azra and Spooner were trying to speak to Gideon and trying to get her to understand what happened, and they couldn't communicate with her until the end of the episode. The guys obviously were in trouble because they found out obviously that J. Edgar Hoover was being threatened and kidnapped by Al Capone's men. So towards the end of the episode, the potion that Gary gave Nate, it wore off, and his face changed back into obviously what he looks like. Obviously, who he is. He didn't look like J. Edgar Hoover anymore because the potion / spell wore off. So because of that, when he went to go confront Al Capone's men, they said, "Who are you? We need J. Edgar Hoover." That escalated until it's okay. You don't have to shoot him or me. He tried to convince the guys, the henchmen, the gangsters, but they said no. Then out of nowhere, the rest of the team, the girls come back and give them whiskey, say sorry about what happened, and basically, you guys can just leave now. And they knew them as the Bullet Blondes, which is what their moniker is this season, as notorious bank robbers. They made that in the first episode to try to get J. Edgar Hoover, obviously, and the rest of the town focused on them, so that the rest of the team can steal the Wave Riders black box out of the sheriff's office, so they can actually use it to communicate with Gideon and try to figure out a way to get back home. Obviously that backfired, but that's basically what it is now. So basically what happened was after they tried to figure out obviously who was trying to kidnap. Well, once they figured out that J. Edgar Hoover was obviously what got to be kidnapped, they got off the train. They confronted the guys. Like I said, the gangsters, Al Capone's henchmen. They said, okay, that's fine. Once they left, once they were about to leave, J. Edgar Hoover comes out of nowhere, but everybody's like, wait, he's dead. So he tells everybody they're under arrest, and then the gangsters, Al Capone's henchmen, said, we're not going down without a fight, and we're not going to jail. Basically take us dead, J. Edgar Hoover. So they got into a big, huge shootout. He was shooting all their men, and he was moving so fast, and it was weird, and everybody was like, what's going on? So eventually, Sarah Lance jumps out of nowhere with one of the whiskey bottles that they have in their hands, smashes it across his head. He falls down. They're looking at him, and the next thing you know, they're noticing that there's no blood on him at all. She hit him in the back of the head directly with the whiskey bottle. So they're like, what's going on? So somebody, I think it was Sarah, grabbed at his face, and she started peeling it off. It came off easily, and it was a cyborg, a straight robot. So it was not J. Edgar Hoover. So somebody sent a cyborg version of J. Edgar Hoover from where, we don't know, to destroy the team. And they tried to figure out what was going on, but next thing you know, it said a self-destructing sequence in 30 seconds, and basically the whole entire thing was about to blow up. The cyborg of J. Edgar Hoover, which was not really him. So that once that happened, they ran away. The whole thing blew up, and that was basically it. Then they're trying to figure out, okay, now we're on our next journey, which is finally getting to New York. We don't have to worry about Al Capone anymore. J. Edgar Hoover's gone. There won't be another cyborg version of him. The episode was okay. Last week's episode was kind of a little bit better, I guess, but basically now that we finally get to go see in the fourth episode, we're going to see obviously the new version of Matt Ryan, of the character he's playing, which obviously is a professor named obviously Gwen Davies. We're going to see that, obviously. So we're going to see that in the fourth episode. And the third episode, which is next week, is going to be a reunion episode. Azra and Spooner are able to travel through Gideon's mind as a human now, but she's still an AI system, so they'll be seeing memories. They're trying to figure out what happened with the Wave Rider, why she's acting this way, and they're trying to help her. And by doing that, they meet with the rest of the team. And as you can see right here, it's the picture of everybody that's supposed to be coming back. But the problem is, obviously, they're not. The issue is that we don't see, obviously, the rest of the team, obviously, there. So basically, what's happening is the rest of the team is not there. So that's obviously a problem. So I'm just going to show you what's going on. Basically, when you click right here, you can see it. Basically. So what's happening right now is basically we can see that when you go on here on Google on News, and I just clicked on it. So basically, what's happening is you can see that right here is where they have all of the everybody that's supposed to be coming back on the team, but that's obviously a huge issue. So basically, what you can see here is everybody that's here, but the only people that are missing that are not here are Hawk Girl and Vixen. Everybody else is there except them two. So I have no idea what's going on. We'll see what's going to happen. And obviously Dominique Purcell is not there as a Heat Wave. They say he's going to be coming back. And make an appearance in this season, I guess, a couple episodes, but so far he's not in this, which is next week's episode, the reunion, the third episode of season 3. It's going to be a reunion, and this is basically what it's looking like. Everybody here, the only 3 people are missing are Vixen, Hawk Girl, and Mick Rory, who is obviously Heat Wave. So we'll see what happens with that. But it's very cool. It's just weird how they're not there. So we'll see what happens. I have no idea. That's basically it. The episode was okay. I'm just glad they finally get to move past the whole J. Edgar Hoover thing for 2 episodes. I was just like, I'm already done with it already. Nate pretending to be him again. So that's what's going to happen in the next episode. Episode 3, this is going to be a reunion episode. They travel through Gideon's mind, try to figure out what's going on with her, and obviously figure out how they can find a way to get to the Wave Rider another time. So it basically says this: in the next chapter, the now Flesh AI system Gideon experiences a meltdown that requires Astra and Spooner to deep dive into her mind for hard reboots. They use her witchcraft powers, Astra, and obviously Spooner's telekinetic powers to get inside Gideon's mind and help her to figure out what's going on. They help her dive into her mind for her reboot. To do that, they'll have to remind her of the Legends history, which means familiar faces returning, so viewers can expect to see Captain Cold, Rip Hunter, Dr. Martin Stein, Firestorm, Hawkman, Nora Dark, and obviously Ray Palmer. Everybody here. But like I said, 3 people are missing: are Hawk Girl, Vixen, and Heatwave. So that's basically it. But that's the end of my review for this week's episode. It's okay. I'm just glad that they're finally going to move forward with the whole, I would say probably J. Edgar Hoover situation for 2 episodes. The 4th episode, I think, was going to be the episode where they show Professor Gwen Davies for the first time, which is Matt Ryan's new character. And that's what's going to happen on episode 4. But next week on episode 3 is going to be the reunion episode for everybody to see and enjoy. Just a one-off. I don't think that's going to be they're going to have anybody else come back from the past. There might be a way. I don't know. We'll see what happens, though. But that's basically it. And that's all I have to say about this. Show's not been as fun as it used to be. It's not anymore. It's decent now. They tried too hard to do with what Thor Ragnarok did, which was become a Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff, and trying to use that comedy to insert itself into the show to make it more interesting. And that obviously hasn't been the case. But obviously this is not DC Marvel. This is DC. So everybody, I know it's a little different, but still a huge group of superheroes together who are not friends. That's basically what Guardians of the Galaxy is. Obviously, they become friends and family. But like I said, the comedy is a big, huge part of what makes Guardians of the Galaxy much more entertaining than other teams, obviously. And that's what was used in Thor Ragnarok to make it more appealing to people. And that's basically it. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, that's the end of my review, and we'll see what happens on throughout the rest of the season. 13 episodes is only going to be the whole entire total for this season. I don't know if this will be the last season. I've been guessing that it might be, and they might not announce until the end. But if they do another season, which will be season 8, if it gets renewed for it, it'll be the last one, and it will most likely end up, because this is the 100th episode. So this is going to be, once the season's over, they'll be at a total of 111 episodes. So they could go another 10 more. I think that if they do it next season, end up being 10 seasons, cut 10 episodes. The season will be cut in half. It'll be 10 episodes, and that would bring the whole entire show's total episodes to 121 for 8 seasons. That's what'll probably happen, and we'll see what takes place. I don't know, but like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. But they've basically done everything: time traveling from the past, the future, the present, all around. They lost the Wave Rider. They lost the ability to time travel multiple times. Lots of people obviously are no longer on the show, but we'll see what happens, obviously. That's basically it. And crossovers, as far as anything I've seen, Brandon Routh and some other people are going to be on The Flash, so we'll see what happens with that, obviously, with other crossovers and people that bring it back, like Black Lightning and whatnot. That's basically it. That's the end of my review, and that's all I have to say about this. Thank you again for watching, and let me know what you have to think about this, and that's all I have to say about this. situation again. And this episode review for season 7, episode 3 of the this is season 7, episode 2 of DC Legends of Tomorrow, and that's basically all I have to say about this. Thank you again for watching, and that's it. Thank you. Bye.